Right, the procedure that we're going to do now is the FindMax file. Now this one's different from the BMI, and this is where he's been having difficulty. And the way that it's different is that you have your FindMax and you have your display and you have your write all within the one procedure. And I know that that's sometimes a wee bit tricky. So what I've done is I've already copied in my top level algorithm, because please remember I should have at least a line of code for all of this here. So I'm looking for set max file to first element in the graphics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and copy this from BMI, and I'm just going to bring it across, and I'm going to put it underneath. So that max BMI, I'm going to change it so that it's max file, and it's going to be to graphic, and I'm going to need a get. Well, this is going to be the size. Now I've not written this file, this procedure yet, okay, so I need to remember to go and write the procedure. It's just a return procedure, function, and we've wrote loads of them. So there's my max file. So underneath I'm going to take this, I'm just going to copy it, and I need to do a max height. So I'm going to paste. Well, height is an int, and where it says file, I'm just going to change it to height. I'm going to spell it correctly, and over here I'm going to write height. Lots of spelling errors, it's clearly getting late. And then we've got a max width, and again that's set to the first item. So if I do Control V again, and again your width is an int, and just change file to width, and the first item in A graphic, which is obviously position 0, and then get the width. And I've noticed here that it says height. So that's me written those lines, and again max width, max height, max file, these are local variables, i.e. local to this procedure alone, so we just write float int in front. We don't need to put private, they're automatically private. So repeat for each element in A graphics. Right, okay, let's go and get our for. So I'm copying and pasting, and I'm going to fire that in there. Now, we've already set 0, right? We've already got the size at 0, and we've made that the max file. So you don't need to compare the one at 0. So we're going to change that to 1. I don't need to compare 0 with itself, that's just a bit crazy, right? So we don't do that. You've got 0, you compare it with 1, you compare it with 2, you compare it with 3, you compare it with 4. That's how it works. So we must change that there to 1. If we don't do that, your program is kind of inefficient, and we don't like that. So if the current file size, and the current file size is the current one in our array, is greater than the max file, then do this. So I'm going to just write that code. So it's if, and then it's the current file size in my array, which is 8 graphic, and the current file size is I, and it's get size. If that's greater than my maximum file, right, then what do? Set the max file to the current, set to do, right, so what I'm going to do is copy these, Control copy, paste, next one, because it's then the height and then it's the width. So copy, paste, and finally the width. And notice, oops, let's copy that properly, copy. Notice that each line is matching up with the algorithm above it. Now it's not 0 because that's the first one, the current one is I because I is going through the elements of the array. So it needs to be I. Trust that the algorithm works, okay? I wrote it with you, I promise you it does work. There's my end if, and then I've got an end repeat. Now I'm going to line this up. Oops. Let's try that one again. I'm going to align this up. And my computer is going to crash. So I'm going to pause it here and then we'll look at the next one.